Welcome to Fight News Now Extra. I'm John Pollock. Lots to chat about coming out of a very busy weekend with cards from Bellator and the UFC. John Ramdian and Robin Black will outline the highlights, including the first title fight on Fight Pass and on Fight Network. Kimbo and Ken Shamrock headline Bellator 138, and lots more to discuss on today's show. Joanna Jędrzejczyk put her stamp on top of the UFC's strawweight division with a dominant performance on Saturday in defending her championship against Jessica Penne. It was the pinpoint accuracy of her strikes and wide variety of technique which bloodied up Penne, and it was the relentless pace from the champion that led to the stoppage coming in the third round. It was Jędrzejczyk's first defense of the title, which she won this past March, and stated after the bout that no one is taking her gold. Tetsuya Kawajiri returned to the octagon on Saturday for his first fight since April of last year as he met Dennis Siver. Kawajiri constantly attacked for the takedown with his single leg attempts and put Siver in a defensive position throughout the fight. On the occasions that Kawajiri could take his opponent to the mat, he would settle in half guard and work in short elbows. The judges scored the fight 29-28 across the board for the 37-year-old Kawajiri. It was almost 7 years ago when Kimbo and Ken Shamrock were first scheduled to meet in Elite XC. On Friday night in St. Louis, they finally did at Bellator 138, and it only lasted 2 minutes and 22 seconds. After a takedown by Shamrock that needs to be seen to believe, Shamrock then went to the back and was on the verge of completing a rear naked choke when Slice battled back and escaped, knocking down and ending the fight and providing Kimbo Slice his first victory in mixed martial arts since 2009. And finally, Patricio Pitbull Freite defended his featherweight title on the card against Daniel Weichel. Weichel stood with Pitbull throughout the opening round, and it was the closing moments where Weichel connected with a big combination and continued with a flurry of strikes before the round came to a close. Pitbull regrouped and in the second round threw a left hook which placed Weichel on the mat, and Pitbull earned the TKO victory, successfully defending his featherweight title for the second time. This Saturday, we will be presenting a 1-hour pre-fight show at 7 p.m. Eastern Time with John Ramdian, Robin Black, and myself getting you set for the Fight Night card from Hollywood, Florida, which is headlined by middleweights Lyoto Machida and Yoel Romero. And we are here with John Ramdian and Robin Black, and dare I say that Kimbo Slice undefeated in mixed martial arts for 5 years after Friday night. What a spectacular win for Kimbo Slice.
Hey, look it. This was fun. No matter how you slice it, you can say whatever you want. I know there's a lot of people that believe this was a work and that...
That's crazy.
It is crazy. But who knows? It is mixed martial arts. You never know, because people will look back to the days of Pancrase and look back to the days of Pride, saying that that was a part of the culture. Was this that case? Who knows? But all I know, that people that I was watching it with, and I'm sure the people that you were watching it with, we're all entertained with the outcome of the main event and all the fights leading up to it.
I thought it was a great show. Yeah. I enjoyed it. It was a very fun show. The question is, how many people were like your friends, your family? I know Robin was super excited about this fight going into it. You know, Stephan Bonner and Tito Ortiz, their fight peaked at about 2.2 million viewers on Spike last November.
This is going to do more.
You think this will do more?
I think so. I think that Kimbo Slice brings such a casual fan base to mixed martial arts, especially if they knew that he's fighting kind of on free TV, that people would tune in. And I think especially the old school fans, they hear Ken Shamrock's fighting. This is the type of fight that it's going to get a lot of people to tune in. And again, the promotion did their job. They had this as the main event, but they had Michael Chandler, they had Daniel Strauss, they had Bobby Lashley.
You take that main event out, this thing's doing 1 million viewers tops.
Tops, that's right. So you put this as the main event to get everybody to that show and then show them that their product is as good as most of the products.
And how did they succeed in that regard, if you feel
Michael Chandler was awesome.
Daniel Strauss?
Pitbull was awesome. Daniel Strauss was awesome. That was really good. I'm having a really hard time, honestly, because I want to choose to believe that we live in a world where there are no fake fights. And I analyze fighting for a living, thousands and thousands of hours of analyzing tape.
Yeah.
I know exactly what I'm looking at. I pride myself on the fact that that's what I do with my life, as weird as that might be to a lot of people. But when I look at that choke, that was not a real choke, and I don't know what to make of that. And I'm not comfortable with that because...
But Robin, to your point, though, you are analyzing the best fighters in the world. This is a 51-year-old
white belts,
shot
no,
fighter.
It doesn't matter. White belts, and I'm taking that into account with what I'm looking at. Like, if you engage your back when you put a choke on, I'm looking at the musculature, you put the choke on and your back engages, you see your lat engage. His was not. He also, you put your hand on someone's forehead when you're doing a fake choke. I mean, white belts know to hide your hand. Kimbo's face gritted. It was weird. And why I'm not okay with it, if there was something going on, is it undermines, fights to me are the most special thing in the world. The fact that we get these people to do that. If there's weird stuff going on, it undermines every fight in some way.
True, but then what's the value of working a fight?
Yeah, I know. That's what's so weird.
There's nothing to gain from either of these guys winning or losing. Nothing.
I know. That's what's so weird about it.
I don't subscribe that there was anything going on. I think it was a guy that had no belief that he was going to achieve that takedown, found himself in a position that this guy does not find himself in with Ken Shamrock, and going to a submission. I don't know if he panicked, and he just couldn't simply apply it.
The thing
that
is,
was it.
I want
bad MMA.
I want to believe all of that. I want to. That's what I will love to believe. And I'm analytically looking at the physicality of what's going on, and it's too weird.
But when you look at
it makes me sad.
Yeah, sure. But if you look at the fact that, no disrespect to Ken Shamrock's team, but it's not as if he brought in new guys. You saw in his corner Pete Williams. Pete Williams was around in 1995, so maybe Ken Shamrock and his team, maybe there's ego involved to the point where it's, you know what? We've built this. We don't need to evolve, which means you miss all the details.
It's definitely possible that Kimbo slipped on that non-single leg.
Yeah.
And it's totally possible that Ken, just for some weird reason, brain farted and forgot to engage at all when applying that choke and put it in the wrong spot. And Kimbo reacted in a way that people do when they're pretending to be choked. And that punch that did cut him, the fact that it cut him kind of makes it, well, it's all of that is possible, and that's what I choose to believe, because that's what I want to believe.
But when you look
when I look at it, wanting that to all be true, it's more likely that it's not true when I look at the physicality of it. And like I said, I really want it to be real. So it makes me sad.
Well, what's next here for these two? I mean, Ken Shamrock, not 24 hours later, Royce Gracie is saying he wants to fight Ken Shamrock.
Yeah.
It's like we are in the most bizarre vacuum in the world.
Yeah, then you take it. If you're Bellator, you go with these. You keep doing these things. You have Michael Chandler in the card. You have Pat Curran. You have Pitbull. You have all your legitimate stars on the card. But you have.
Is there a ceiling to this? Is there a backlash? Is this okay that this is going to be known as the promotion that is going to do these style of fights?
Well, we see there's a relationship between Spike TV and TNA and Glory. It's all about combat sports entertainment, mixed martial and boxing.
No, TNA,
right.
Yeah,
that's right. They're gone. But they've had that relationship, and mixed martial arts has the history of pro wrestling, so it's been a part of it. And I think you need to do. If this means that you have to have freak show main events, and then again load up your undercard with their ridiculously good talent, you have to do with it. You're trying to create interest here.
And as sad as that makes me, if people see how special Michael Chandler is, that makes me happy. But I'm really uncomfortable right now.
Wow. Robin Black, we hope that you can, pull up a blanket, have some hot cocoa. You'll be back to chatting about Yoel Romero and Lyoto Machida this week. For Robin, John, I am John Pollock. More Fight News Now Extra is coming up.